Hey folks, let me try this again here and actually make sure my mic is on, not the audio for the music. I'll just forget the music for now. So welcome to CIS1200. This is the Introduction to Database Systems course, and this is a 12-week course. So we're going to be essentially doing 15 weeks worth of material done in 12 weeks so we can finish before Thanksgiving. So it's going to be a little bit fast. It is a 4-credit course, so to make that work over the 12 weeks, we're going to do essentially 5 credits worth of work in each week for those 12 weeks, so we can pick up that 60 hours worth of work. So please plan accordingly for that. Let's start with the syllabus. I know you folks know how to read, so I'm just going to pull out the highlights for you here. I would do this in person as well, so we'll get through it, but it is important information, and I can't really guarantee everyone else reads it anyway. So yeah, I'm Eric Chinesky. Nice to meet you here. This is my college email address. This is my cell phone. I do have a desk phone at my office there on campus, but I'm rarely ever there. So calling that number is kind of silly. So just use my cell phone. You can call or text. I'll show you my profile here in a little bit with some hours that work pretty well. And then I've got a link I'll show you in a little bit to help me figure out what office hours will work best for you folks. You can just fill out the dates and times, or day and times that work best for you, and I'll match those up with my schedule so I can serve the most people during my regular standing office hours. And those will be virtual via Discord or Zoom. I'm a big fan of Discord. I like the running chat that we can have for the course and that sort of thing, because if you have questions about something, everyone else probably has that same question too, right? So if you ask it in the Discord where everyone else can see it, then everyone else will see the answer, and it works out pretty nice. Again, we're online, fully asynchronous. So come as you want during your time. So weeks will start every Tuesday, and then everything will be due by the next Tuesday, 11:59 p.m. or so, just to give you a little bit of time there. For our course catalog description, this should be a copy-paste. Shouldn't be anything new there. There are no prereqs for the course. For some outcomes, we've got some general education outcomes and then some common course outcomes. So the idea with these is we actually assess them across all CIS 1200 sections to make sure that everyone is accomplishing these specific course goals that we have laid out. One of the big ones here when we work with databases is all about creative thinking, conceptual thinking, analyzation, synthesize, analyzation, that's not a word, analyzing, oh my goodness, needs more coffee. Analyzing, synthesizing, applying information. It's a very conceptual task when we work with databases and design them, so it's going to take a little shift into sometimes how you might be used to thinking in a little more concrete terms. And then for the common course outcomes, specifically look between file systems and database management systems. There's a huge difference there. Try and understand and articulate the difference between the two, and then the components and people within a database system. So not just the software itself, but the entire system. To look at business rules and incorporate business rules into our data model, to create entity relationship diagrams using crow's foot and Bachman notation. We'll identify and interpret relational data normalization concepts. Normalization is a whole chapter. It's a really cool process. Again, it's one of those things that conceptually takes a little bit of time to understand what the goal is and why we do it. But after you kind of understand the why, it gets to be a lot easier. This one's similar to that general education outcome. We apply our skills to conceptualize, think creatively, innovatively, analyze, synthesize, and apply information, and apply knowledge to the assigned task. So we'll have some individual projects throughout the first half of the semester, and then we'll have a final group project at the end that you'll be applying all the skills to. We'll collaborate to develop and run SQL or SQL statements to define database structures, manipulate data within the multi-user client-server database. So this class is not about Microsoft Access. Right, we're not a Microsoft Access class. We're actually going to use real enterprise database software. Now, it won't be the scale of enterprise databases. We're not going to have millions and billions of rows of data, but we're using the same software that they use, just at a smaller scale. We'll develop and test and implement SQL queries to extract and report data from a single table and multiple tables. This is a huge skill to be able to learn and to be able to practice, to be able to get information from your data and be able to report on that data. Then we'll look a little bit near the end on transaction management, concurrency control, and interpret business intelligence and data warehousing mining concepts. So at the end, it should prepare you to do a bunch of database things and then possibly move on. Even if you're not going to be a database administrator, knowing how to work with the database is important for many positions in IT, and be able to understand how that works in that process. And then if you are interested in database management or database administration, you can go further on. We have other courses in the program here, and other places, if you transfer out, have other database courses as well that take you further. So this is kind of a broad base survey level. We're not going to get super deep, but we're going to do a lot of things about databases, and then if that's interesting to you, you can go deeper in other classes. So our textbook for the course is this Database Systems version 13 book here. So the first ISBN is for the physical copy, the second ISBN is for the digital copy. Get whatever you prefer. It's totally up to you. I know some people like the physical copy because they can like take notes and highlight and put sticky notes in, and some people like the digital copy. If it's searchable, they can like control find and try and find specific keywords, and it's totally up to you. But all of our quizzes and the exam will be open book, open notes. I've never been asked in the workplace to do something without using my resources, because that's just silly. And you know what, we're fully online anyway, and I don't want to have to fight battles and try and make sure people don't use their book when the book could just be right in front of them anyway. So they'll just all be open book, open notes. And then some supplemental materials. We're going to use 2 free tools from Oracle. We're going to use their SQL Developer Data Modeler, and we're going to use their Apex Multi-User Enterprise Database Management System. This one's available on the web. It's easy. I'll set you guys up with accounts later. And then the Developer Data Modeler tools is downloadable, and you can run that one. For some specific course policies, I do take plagiarism and academic integrity very seriously. I feel strongly that cheaters should not get degrees because it devalues the degree for everyone else who worked hard at it. If you cheat your way through school and get a job, the people who hired you will know what school you went to, and if you suck at the job because you cheated your way through school, they're going to think we did a terrible job at the school and not want to hire other graduates. So it's in your best interest as well to make sure students who cheat don't succeed. Right? It's just bad for everybody. So the policy in my courses is if you engage in academic dishonesty, you will immediately fail the course and get reported to the dean's office. And the dean's office keeps a nice list of all the students, and there's a 3-strike policy here at the college where if you've done this 3 times, you will no longer be welcome to be a student at Oakland Community College. Now, that being said, if you're not sure, just ask. Right? The biggest thing we run into here in IT courses or CIS courses is plagiarism, where you take someone else's material and present it as your own without citation. Right? So if someone else has the idea or someone else wrote something and you turn it in and you don't say you got it from them, that's plagiarism. So just ask if you're not sure. And then I thought this would have been nice and clear, but apparently I have to be super explicit now. Under no circumstances may you use chegg.com. Do not post the homework questions there. Do not post the projects there. Do not post the quizzes there. And I don't even want you citing stuff that was posted there because no one should be posting our course stuff on chegg.com. So any use of Chegg or similar websites like Course Hero and all these other ones is considered academic misconduct. Just stay off of them. Right? They're garbage, and I hope they get sued and go out of business because they let you pay for, quote, tutoring, and then they do your homework for you. I think they're despicable. So the OCC handbook, like this is the direct quote out of there. So it's all up to the judgment of the instructor of the class. That's me. So if that's construed, if I think it's academic dishonesty, you are going to be hit by this. All right. So if you're not sure, just ask. I'm happy to answer questions. I've had to fail way too many people, and they say, oh, well, I didn't know how to cite the source, or I wasn't sure. I was just working too fast. And that's all just a bunch of bullcrap because they were cheating. I failed way too many people, and it's really irritating because it's a lot of paperwork to fill out. There's this whole form I have to fill out with supplemental documentation and things that I have to send over to the dean's office. Just don't do it, okay? Let's just not. Let's do the work because you want to do the work to learn the material. Right? It shouldn't be busy work. It should be all helping you learn the concepts and topics in the class here. Again, typically plagiarism. Or acquisition of the tests or other academic material or distribution of the same. And this includes students who aid and abet. So if someone says, hey, can I just see your project because I want to see if I did it right? Tell them no. Go get lost. Right? Go do your own work. Because if you give someone your homework and they turn it in, you are also guilty of academic misconduct or academic dishonesty. Okay? All right, anyway, back onto the more interesting stuff. The code of conduct, just copy paste. Yeah, make sure you keep the classroom corridors quiet. This is online. This is all just boilerplate, I'm sorry. So how you earn your grade in the course. So I use a weighted system where each category has a weight in the overall score. So the discussions will each have certain points assigned to them. Overall, your score in discussions will make up 10% of your final grade in the class. Okay, so just for showing up and doing the discussions, posting every week, replying every week, you can get 10%. These should be free points, folks. This is basically participation credit, right? If you show up, you do it on time, and you answer the question and you respond in a meaningful way, not just, yes, I agree, right? A meaningful response, and you add to the discussion, you'll get the points for the discussions. Right, for projects, the individual projects we're going to be working on the first half of the semester, that make up 25% of your overall score. So there'll be points among the projects, but the points only matter within the project's category. So if the first project is worth 10 points, and the next one is worth 15 points, and the next one is worth 20, overall, there are 55 points in that category, if I did the math right. 45. 20, yeah, 45 points in the category. So the later projects are worth more, because we know more things. We'll have quizzes over every chapter of the text. These are open book, open notes quizzes. This is your incentive to read the textbook. And I get it. I know it's hard to read textbooks, and please don't memorize things. But you have to do more than open up the pages and look for the bold words. Right? You need to know what's in each section, what each section talks about, and know how to go back and find it. So I don't expect you to read every single word, or if you do, good. Please, I mean that would be ideal, but most people don't. But know where the material is, so that if you see a question about, hey, this is about data normalization, specifically second normal form, I know where to go look up more information. Because all this material is coming right out of the textbook, which is our main reference for the course. And we'll have one exam, the midterm exam, will be 15% of your overall score. I try and keep exams weighted low because I hate exams, but they give me funny looks if I don't have them. So just the one midterm exam, it is open book, open notes. This one will be time bound. So the chapter quizzes will open up each week, and you'll have all week to do them. You open them, close them, open them, close them. The midterm will say, once you hit start, you'll have 4 hours to click finish. Although, maybe it should be 5 because we're an online, a 12-week course. It'll be time bound. I hadn't thought about changing that time limit. That way you'll have the one sitting to do this one in. But again, open book, open notes, so you don't need to memorize the material, you just need to know where to go find it. That being said, if you have to look up every single question, it's going to take you a lot of time, right? You should have a good feel for some of these things in the midterm, and we'll look at some example midterms and practice problems and things to get you prepared for it, so it won't be out of the blue. And then the last thing here is the final project, and this one is a group project, because designing things collaboratively is going to give you a better result. And that's typically how we work in the workplace, where you don't just say, hey, one person do this big project and no one else work with them. Right? It's done collaboratively. So we want to practice that and understand how we can use this database in a multi-user environment, right, where we have multiple people using it. And that makes up 40% of your overall score. So this one's big, but you're going to have a month to do it. The last month of class will be focusing on the final project and applying all the things we've done so far as we go through the last couple special topics. So the goal is every group finishes this 100%. Right? My goal here is to help you along the way. Right? If you folks are getting stuck on something, please reach out and ask me. I'm not going to say go away. Right? I want to help you all accomplish this and feel good about your final result here. And because this one's a group project, part of your score here will come from your group evaluations, your peer evaluations. But I would ask, please don't make those a surprise. Right? If someone's being a terrible group member, you should be telling them the entire time that they're being a terrible group member, not doing the things that they agreed to do. Right? When you look at all the things you need to do as a group, you decide, okay, we're gonna have this piece here you're gonna work on, and then we're gonna get together and we're gonna talk about this thing. And if they're missing those deadlines and dates and not turning things in, you should be telling them, hey, you're not doing a good job at this. Right? Don't wait until the peer evaluation to say, hey, this group member never did anything, but we never told them. Okay, so typically everyone in the group will get the same score on the project portion, and then they'll get their peer eval score separately, unless you're the person who just blew off your group. If you did nothing for your group and everyone else in the group says you were terrible and never helped and never contributed, you won't get that score. And if you don't get that score, it's impossible to pass the course with this final project. All right, so just plan accordingly. Right, we need to be good collaborators here. And I'm not saying you have to meet every single day or anything, but we're planning this out, so we have a month to work on it, so we can do some weekly deliverables and checkpoints. So it should be easy enough for you to contribute to the group in a meaningful way. So this letter scale, percentage to letter scale, should be standard. No question, nothing interesting there. For this end mark for online courses, essentially, if you don't turn anything in the first 2 weeks, you'll get an end grade. But I'll be in contact with you. Don't worry too much about it. In terms of late work, I don't accept it without prior written approval. I will typically post solutions to things after they're due. So if something's due by 11:59 p.m., the next day I'm going to have an answer out there to show you how this is how I would go solve that problem. So I don't take things late. So please plan ahead there. For FERPA, I won't tell people anything. I'll just say go look at D2L. That's my easiest way. I'm not going to talk about grades anywhere else. I'll just say go log into the D2L and look. If you need any sorts of accommodations through the Americans with Disabilities Act, please contact the Access Office, and they'll send the paperwork on to me, and I'm happy to chat with you. I think because the midterm is going to be the only time-bound exam, that's probably the only one. Typically, students get additional time on exams if they have some sort of disabilities there regarding the reading processing sort of thing. So if you need additional time on that, make sure the paperwork's in with the Access Office, and then chat with me about it. The Academic Support Center is fantastic. We have free is not quite the right word here, but no additional charge tutoring because it's already paid for through your tuition and tax dollars. But if you take a look at their page here, we have individual tutors that you can book. I believe we just have one tutor out of the Orchard Ridge campus. I got to check the other campuses and see. But Miss Rika here is a tutor for CIS1200, and you can book individual appointments Wednesday and Thursday with her, either virtually or in-person appointments, to talk about topics related to 1200. So she's fantastic. She is a supplemental instructor for some of the other courses or sections of 1200, and she is just phenomenal. So she's another resource there for you if you want to spend a little more time working with someone one-on-one. I gotta check. I think we had one other tutor. I forget what campus they were at who did 1200. Don't think they're at Southfield or Highland Lakes. Let's see. Royal Oak. Nope. Okay, so we don't have 1200 there at Royal Oak. Do we have them at? Those aren't CIS course numbers. Okay, so they don't have anyone there. Bummer. Sometimes that changes too. I'll let you know if I hear any more about the tutoring schedule. But at least we have Rika here at Orchard Ridge. For D2L technical issues, call the D2L technical help desk. That's like the page doesn't load, or the links aren't, I'm not navigating, something's got stuck or froze. Anything content related is all me, because I'm the one putting the content out here. Some other boilerplate things. The technology appropriate use regulations: don't do stupid things with college resources or you'll lose access to the college resources, like DesireToLearn.com. It's really hard to complete online classes if you don't have access to DesireToLearn.com, so please don't do anything dumb. For netiquette, you can take a minute to review that. That's great. I don't grade for grammar. Not that it's not important, but that's just not the focus of the course. We'll take the professional communications course as part of the program here, and you can learn some more proper things there, and that's where we evaluate for stuff like that. For public safety, we're not on campus, so probably not a big deal here. And then for me, if you've read any of the reviews on Rate My Professor, it's been really bad getting stuff graded and turned around on time during this pandemic. It's been a little rough at home, just everything going on. But I'm hoping this fall will be a lot better as we move back to something closer to normal. If I'm running behind on the grading, I'll let you folks know, but it's always based on the due date. So if you turn it in early, doesn't mean it's going to get graded early. I typically wait till everything's in, and then I'll grade them all in one batch, so I can kind of evaluate them all together to see, oh, well, if everyone did bad at this one thing, maybe that wasn't a great question. And then for communications, I'm always getting back to you within 24 hours or less. I've got everything goes to my phone, my email goes to my phone, Discord goes to my phone, you've got my cell phone number, kind of text or call. So I should get back to you within 24 hours or less. If I haven't yet, it might have gotten lost in the pile. Please feel free to reach out again, because maybe I saw it, but I wasn't able to respond right away, and then I lost it somewhere in that pile. So, but usually you'll hear back from me. So if you don't, please reach out again. And our course schedule. Again, this is a 12-week course, so we are sprinting through. So this week we're doing the course introduction, talking about the syllabus and other course-related topics, and then we'll get into database systems, chapter 1, in another video. We essentially do a chapter a week as we go through, and we have projects every other week for the first half till we hit the midterm. And then the week of the midterm, I'll also assign the final project so you can get started on that. It's going to use all the tools from the previous weeks, and then the last 3 weeks are essentially special topics. We're not going to get super deep into these, but we want to get into some good highlights and understand what these are and how they're different and why they're important. If you're into business intelligence and data warehousing, that's an entire separate topic. Big data and NoSQL is, we actually have an entire course for this now that's rolling out, I believe, next semester. If that's the sort of thing you're interested in. This is apparently the new big thing. Lots of people are trying to do this, and it's really difficult to do big data and NoSQL properly, or do it right and get value out of it. Lots of people have ideas about it and they try things, but it's getting value from your data is what it's all about. And that's the hard part, and that's why we need more people skilled at these sorts of things. And then a little bit on database administration and security. So that's the only week we double up on chapters, but we're not going super deep on these because, again, we have our own whole courses on database administration and big data and NoSQL. And then the last week is actually that Tuesday. If I understand right, grades are due 48 hours after this day. So it's not an entire week, which is weird. But that Tuesday, Wednesday, we need to schedule final project presentations where your group and I will meet on Zoom or Discord, some sort of screen sharing tool, and you can present your final project to me. Okay, so we'll work on scheduling that as we get there. But I'm relatively flexible, so I'm figuring I can work with every group as possible. All right, so that's it for the syllabus. If you do have any questions, please let me know. Again, I'm a big fan of questions in the Discord channel for the class, so follow that link to the Discord server. It's just a chat program. And it is public, so you're welcome to use any username that you want. It doesn't have to be your real name because this is a public Discord server. So use any handle you want for Discord, that's okay. Your name is actually on the stuff you turn into D2L, so that's where it's important there. All right, cool. So I'll publish this video, and then we'll come back for the Chapter 1 lecture in a little bit. Thanks, folks.